Mr. Arif Ali, Governor of Reserve Bank of Fiji and Chair of AFI's Board of Directors. Dr. Alfred Hanig, Executive Director of AFI. Guest speaker, Dr. Monique Sansawanga, Deputy Chairperson of African Union. Mr. Miguel Catán, Secretario de Comercio en Inversiones El Salvador. Governors, heads of institutions, industry leaders, senior executives, and representatives of governments and financial institutions, delegates of the 2024 AFI Global Policy Forum present here, and all people connected in social media platforms, we send our warm greetings from San Salvador, El Salvador. This beautiful city is famous for its volcanoes, delicious gastronomy, and the warmth of its people. It's such a privilege to be here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of El Salvador. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We will begin with the official welcome remarks. I now call Licenciado Dugas Pablo Rodríguez, President of Banco Central de Reserva de El Salvador.
this occasion, I prefer to speak in Spanish. Estimada vicepresidenta del Banco Central de Reserva de El Salvador, señora Hazel González, estimada vicepresidenta de la Unión Africana, doctora Monique Sansabawanda, estimado secretario y amigo, secretario de Comercio e Inversiones de la Presidencia de El Salvador, señor Miguel Quitán, estimado gobernador del Banco Central de Fiji y presidente de la Junta de Directores de la AFI, Arif Ali, estimado director ejecutivo de la Alianza para la Inclusión Financiera, doctor Alfred Henning, apreciables colegas de la Junta de Directores de la Alianza para la Inclusión Financiera, estimados miembros de la red AFI, invitados especiales, muy buenos días para todos, bienvenidos a nuestro país, El Salvador. En nombre de nuestro presidente de la República, el señor Nayib Bukele, y el Banco Central de Reserva, les agradezco por venir a nuestro cálido país. Es un orgullo para nosotros tener su presencia y hemos preparado y puesto todo nuestro empeño, corazón, pasión y esfuerzo para que todos ustedes se sientan como en casa. Nos sentimos sumamente orgullosos de que el Foro Mundial sobre las Políticas de Inclusión Financiera se desarrolle por primera vez en El Salvador y por primera vez en Centroamérica. Que después de casi 10 años, Latinoamérica y el Caribe vuelvan a ser sede de tan importante evento. Hay que reconocer, ante todo, que este foro no se hubiera desarrollado en este país sin las políticas de seguridad impulsadas por nuestro presidente Nayib Bukele. Decisiones muy valientes que eliminaron el cáncer que por décadas tenía a El Salvador en la lista de los países más violentos del mundo, y ahora, gracias a esas medidas y acciones tomadas por nuestro presidente de la República, el excelentísimo señor Nayib Bukele, hoy tenemos un país seguro donde lo puede recibir a ustedes y donde ustedes pueden disfrutar de todo lo que este hermoso país les ofrece. Somos el país más seguro. El Salvador ahora es un referente de seguridad y el país más seguro del hemisferio occidental. Y para nosotros, honestamente, este evento es crucial y por demás importante, pues a través de las políticas públicas en cada uno de los países miembros de la AFI podemos contribuir a tener un mundo más inclusivo y por tanto una población con mejores condiciones de vida. En El Salvador, particularmente, la inclusión financiera es un pilar considerado como fundamental para el desarrollo sostenible y el bienestar de las familias salvadoreñas. En un mundo donde la tecnología avanza a pasos agigantados y con retos identificados en materia de inclusión económica y social, debemos asegurarnos que nadie queda atrás. Hoy, más que nunca, tenemos la oportunidad de utilizar la innovación financiera como una poderosa herramienta para cambiar las vidas y especialmente las vidas de la población más vulnerable. La inclusión financiera en El Salvador inició su camino en el año 2012, cuando El Salvador ingresó como miembro de la Alianza para la Inclusión Financiera y el año siguiente se adhirió a la Declaración Maya. Con la entrada del gobierno de nuestro presidente Nayib Bukele, la inclusión financiera se aceleró exponencialmente, ya que ha reconocido la relevancia de la inclusión financiera al más alto nivel creando el Consejo Nacional de Inclusión y Educación Financiera, de la cual el Banco Central de Reserva, institución a la que represento, es el coordinador. Desde esa instancia en particular, elaboramos, impulsamos, desarrollamos y aplicamos políticas para un ecosistema financiero moderno e inclusivo, para mejorar la vida de todos los salvadoreños, incluyendo un nuevo marco regulatorio que facilita el acceso y el uso de los productos y servicios financieros, así como encuestas a nivel nacional que nos dieron los datos, valiosos datos que fueron los insumos para nuestras principales políticas y estrategias de inclusión financiera, innovación y, por supuesto, educación financiera. Como tal, El Salvador hemos avanzado bastante y estamos cosechando hitos de los cuales nos sentimos muy orgullosos de ser los referentes regionales. Hemos roto esquemas y hemos demostrado que incluir la innovación en cada proyecto es clave para cerrar las brechas de inclusión financiera. Y hemos cumplido con lo encomendado por nuestro presidente Nayib Bukele, que lo público no solo puede, sino que debe ser mejor que lo privado. Y es así que desde el 2021 lanzamos desde el Banco Central de Reserva una potente herramienta de transferencias interbancarias que conecta al 100% de las instituciones financieras de El Salvador y que denominamos muy cariñosamente Transfer 365, la insignia del Banco Central. Un sistema poderoso que funciona 24 horas del día, los 7 días de la semana, 365 días del año, y lo más importante de todo, no tiene ningún costo. Es gratis utilizar esta poderosa herramienta, lo que nos ha garantizado que sea el sistema preferido y más utilizado por los salvadoreños. Y estamos conscientes que la inclusión financiera debe de acompañarse obligatoriamente de educación financiera. Y por tal razón, durante este evento, ustedes pueden conocer de primera mano a uno, sí, tenemos varios proyectos insignia en materia de educación financiera. Me refiero a un novedoso bus, ustedes lo pueden encontrar en el parqueo de este hotel, que es específico para educación financiera, único en la región, con innovación y tecnología que brinda conocimiento de forma divertida sobre cómo utilizar los productos y los servicios financieros digitales que están a disposición de los salvadoreños, and has the main goal of bringing financial education las zonas más rurales de nuestro querido país, El Salvador. Reconocemos que no ha sido fácil, reconocemos que el camino ha estado lleno de retos, pero siempre hemos tenido el apoyo de aliados estratégicos como la AFI, la Alianza para la Inclusión Financiera, con su apoyo técnico y financiero. También su red de miembros que nos han compartido sus valiosos conocimientos y, por supuesto, las lecciones aprendidas. En El Salvador, creemos firmemente que nuestros países deben enfocar sus esfuerzos en los sectores más vulnerables y hacer uso de la tecnología, la innovación y las políticas públicas para promover la inclusión financiera, construir una sociedad más segura y un mundo más equitativo y accesible. Para nosotros, la innovación es mucho más que un término de moda. Es una poderosa herramienta para cambiar las vidas, sobre todo crear oportunidades
create
que antes parecían
opportunities that used to
inalcanzables.
be unattainable
Al impulsar la
before.
inclusión
In
financiera,
promoting
estamos
financial
creando un
inclusion, we are
entorno
creating an
donde las personas
environment where
pueden
people can
participar
participate
activamente en la
actively
economía,
in the economy,
construir un mejor
and
futuro
build
para
a
sus
better
familias
future
y
for your
contribuir
families
al
and
bienestar de
to
sus
contribute to the
comunidades.
well-being of their communities.
El Banco Central de Reserva de El Salvador, como reguladores e impulsores de las políticas, tenemos la responsabilidad y sobre todo el privilegio de desarrollar soluciones innovadoras para avanzar con mayor rapidez hacia un mundo más inclusivo, que empodere personas, dándoles las herramientas necesarias para tener el control de su vida y de su futuro principalmente. Está comprobado la inclusión y la educación financieras unidas con la innovación y la tecnología son reales impulsores del crecimiento económico en los países y además crean un mundo donde cada individuo, sin importar su género, edad, condición económica o situación de vulnerabilidad, tenga oportunidades de prosperar. Todos, nosotros, todos los líderes en cada uno de nuestros países, debemos asegurarnos de que nadie se quede atrás en el camino del bienestar y hacia un mundo más inclusivo. Les animo a participar y a dar lo mejor de sí para que juntos construyamos un mundo mejor. Espero realmente que este encuentro sea para todos enriquecedor y que para cada uno de ustedes y sus países, realmente las delegaciones que los acompañan, disfruten nuestro hermoso país que lo recibe siempre y lo recibirá con los brazos abiertos. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Licenciado Douglas Pablo Rodríguez, President of Banco Central de Reserva de El Salvador, for those warm words of welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, and now for the first of our opening remarks, we welcome Arif Ali, Governor of Reserve Bank of Fiji and AFI Board Chair.
The African Union Deputy Chairperson, Dr. Monique Sansabag Noah, the Secretary for Ministry of Trade and Investment, Miguel Catan, the President, Central Bank of El Salvador, Douglas Rodriguez, AFI Executive Director, Dr. Alfred Henning, governors, deputy governors, central bank leaders, members of the AFI board and colleagues, AFI funders, donors, knowledge partners and stakeholders, local stakeholders, and various industry captains, ladies and gentlemen. As we say in Fiji, Nisa Bulavinaka and Buenos Dias. I bring a warm greetings from the hot and sunny South Pacific and the Reserve Bank of Fiji. As the chair of AFI board, it is my honor to welcome you all this morning to the 2024 Global Policy Forum. We are gathered from different corners of the globe, but united under this year's theme, Innovation for an Inclusive World. I extend my heartfelt thanks to President Rodriguez and the dedicated team at the Central Bank of El Salvador for your warm hospitality and outstanding arrangements for this year's Global Policy Forum. Having hosted the GPF in Fiji in 2016, Having hosted the GPF in Fiji in 2016, we recognize the immense effort of organizing such an event. The countless hours, meetings, resources, and people involved in orchestrating an event of this magnitude, it is truly a testament of your dedication and hard work. Since the announcement in Manila last year that the host of the 2024 GPF will be the Central Bank of El Salvador, the AFI board has continuously been briefed by President Rodriguez of his motivation and commitment to host the best GPF. This is evident in the positive energy and the optimism of your team, and the positive energy is contagious and transmitted to everybody present in this beautiful hall. Your foresight and creativity are truly commendable. Thank you, Mr. President. To the Executive Director, Dr. Alfred Henning, and the hardworking members of the AFI team, thank you for bringing the GPF to this vibrant city of host city of San Salvador and the people of El Salvador. Bringing the GPF to this region, the first global conference of this magnitude to San Salvador, demonstrates AFI's role in reaching out and your obsession with leadership being a service, not a privilege. Please allow me to briefly reflect on my key message, which is still relevant when we met at the last GPF in Manila with the theme stability, sustainability, and inclusivity for shared prosperity. As the incoming AFI board chair, I had highlighted three important underpinnings for the success of our partnership and collaboration. Firstly, the strategic positioning of AFI as a network for emerging and developing countries is pivotal in shaping global landscape. Secondly, maintaining and growing the membership of AFI is a paramount priority for the organization. And thirdly, the value of good partnership or collaboration to support work and programs on financial inclusion. I also echoed to everyone in the AFI family is a champion, and that prosperity should not be the privilege of a few but all. In this regard, I'm pleased to highlight that we have made good progress on our scorecard. Our membership has grown to an all-time high of 90 institutions from 84 countries across 7 regions. Of these, 76 are principal members and 14 are associate members. Secondly, despite the increase in membership fee, the strong trend of fee payments continue and exceeded the target in 2023, while the target for this year has already been achieved, with 79 members having paid their dues as of July 2024. To complement this fee, the board has been briefed that pipeline donor funding, reflecting the great work done by AFI and why others want to partner us, is continuing to grow. Finally, feedback from our members on the satisfaction rating is almost an all-time high. Let me briefly update you on 3 other significant developments within our AFI network. The first is the Gender Inclusive Finance Policy Model, which was endorsed and approved by the IGM yesterday. This is the first of its kind globally and reflects that AFI is a leader and/or trendsetter. In this regard, I congratulate the Global Inclusive Finance Committee Chair and Second Deputy Governor, Banco of Ghana, Mrs. Elisa Ado Awazi, for your leadership and outstanding effort in advancing gender inclusive finance. Since the Denarau Action Plan was adopted during the GPF in Fiji in 2016, increasing women financial inclusion and narrowing the gender gap through gender-responsive financial policy and regulation has been the central focus of AFI's gender policy discussion. We have seen substantial progress in narrowing the gender gap in financial access in many countries. But despite this progress, challenges persist in many of our regions. Second was the endorsement of the 2024 GPF deliverable, the San Salvador Consensus on Responsible Financial Innovation. This declaration reflects AFI's members' commitment to fostering an inclusive, responsible, and supportive environment for financial innovation. The San Salvador Consensus underscores the collective dedication of the AFI members to building a more inclusive financial system that drives economic growth and development. Thirdly, I applaud AFI for launching the AFI Engage initiative this year. The one-year program aimed at emerging policymakers in the AFI network is key to developing future leaders who will advance AFI's vision for inclusive finance and sustainable growth. The program not only supports personal and career development, but also empowers participants to contribute significantly to global financial sector. On Sunday, I had the privilege of interacting with the inaugural group of this program's participations. Looking ahead, I'm optimistic that our central bank stewardship and the pursuit of financial inclusion are in capable hands. I therefore extend my hearty congratulations to our emerging leaders as you embark on this transformative journey. I wish you all the best. My message to you is that the future does not wait for hesitant people. When confronted with difficulty, you have two options: give up or rise to the challenge. The more we achieve, the more we realize on how much more we can achieve. Members, central bankers, financial regulators, we gather from all corners of the globe at this year's GPF with a common objective under the theme, Innovation for an Inclusive World. Let me begin by asking, what is innovation? Well, for a start, I thought I would innovate and ask GTP, what is innovation for an inclusive world? And this is the response I received. Innovation for an inclusive world is a powerful concept that emphasizes the importance of ensuring that technological advancements and new ideas benefit everyone, regardless of their background, location, or socio-economic status. This approach to innovation is driven by the belief that progress should not be limited to a select few, but should be accessible and advantageous to all. In an inclusive world, innovation is not just about creating new products, services, or technologies. It's about designing these advancements with diverse populations in mind, ensuring that they are affordable, accessible, and relevant to a wide range of people. It also involves actively seeking out and incorporating perspectives from different communities, including those who may have been excluded from the innovation process in the past. According to GPT, the key aspects of innovation for an inclusive world include universal design, affordability, cultural sensitivity, equitable access, collaborative innovation, and social impact. It concluded that by focusing on these principles, we can harness the power of innovation to build a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive regardless of their circumstances. To me, inclusive innovation, in simple terms, seeks to bridge the digital divide and address social and economic equality. While we acknowledge that technology is the greatest equalizer, innovation offers potential and efficiency gain, but also brings about inequality. In the context of our theme, innovation becomes a powerful tool for fostering inclusivity and equity. By leveraging innovative solutions, we continue to bridge gaps, overcome barriers, and ensure that the benefits of progress are accessible to all members of society. This approach not only enhances economic growth, but also promotes social cohesion and empowers communities to thrive in a rapidly changing world. Finally, innovation must be purposeful, driven by a commitment to leave no one behind. We innovate with the intention to bridge the gap between rural and urban areas, between formal and informal sectors, to uplift the forgotten and to empower the excluded, women, youth, people with disabilities, and other marginalized groups, to leave no one behind on this transformative journey. Our host, El Salvador, exemplifies this commitment. Nestled between the majestic volcano and the bright blue sea, El Salvador has embarked on a remarkable financial inclusion journey. Its harmonious blend of tradition and progress is a testament to what can be achieved when innovation meets purpose. El Salvador's innovative financial literacy bus, outfitted with the latest technology, helps young people understand and access financial services. This mobile initiative travels to remote areas, provides education and resources to empower the next generation. By bridging the gap between technology and accessibility, El Salvador sets a powerful example to all of us. A collective responsibility for those of us in this forum is to explore innovation's promise, a world where prosperity knows no boundaries. As financial regulators, policymakers, and practitioners, we hold a collective responsibility, a pact that transcends borders and ideologies. Let us explore diverse solutions, learn from one another, and catalyze change. Together, we can build an inclusive world, one where every individual has access to financial services, regardless of their background or location. Over the next 2 days, we will participate in a high-level plenaries and working groups and technical breakout sessions. We'll celebrate outstanding achievements through the AFI Global Awards and eagerly anticipate the announcement of the 2025 AFI GPF host. As we come together, let us embrace this opportunity to learn, to share, and innovate. Our collective efforts will pave the way for a brighter future in financial inclusion. As I conclude, I encourage you all to engage fully, collaborate openly, and take inspiration from the remarkable accomplishment we will honor. Together, we can drive meaningful change and continue to advance our shared vision. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Ali, for your remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Dr. Alfred Hanig, Executive Director, Alliance for Financial Inclusion.
Yeah, morning everybody. Secretary, Trade and Investment Miguel Catan, President Rodriguez, and Vice Presidenta Hazel Gonzalez, Governor Arif, our chair, governors, deputy governors, ministers, deputy ministers, partners, funders, friends. Welcome to this GPF here in El Salvador. I tend to tell stories sometimes. One story I heard, maybe the people from Zimbabwe will confirm or not confirm. I once read that when Nelson Mandela went to Zimbabwe and Robert Mugabe was still president, I think there was an event with a lot of dignitaries and of course a lot of protocol. So there was a lot of protocol from, the president to the ministers, the deputy ministers, all the way down. And that almost took half a speech. And then Nelson Mandela stood up and said, "Dear friends," I think this is a nice message. So I would like to greet you and say, dear friends, welcome. Welcome to this wonderful GPF. And welcome back to some of you. And this year we are in beautiful El Salvador. If this is your first GPF, prepare for something special. If you have attended the GPF before, you know what I'm talking about. And if, like me, you have been to every GPF since the beginning, you will again be very impressed. So that brings me to the thanks to our co-host, Banco Central de Reserva de El Salvador, its president and vice president, and the very committed BCR team who have been working for months, days and nights to deliver an incredible GPF. And I can already say, thank you for keeping the promise, Douglas. Yeah, because, we at AFI, we at AFI, as you know, we really like people who keep promises. So thank you very much, and I think you actually over-deliver already, so we are very happy to be here. Now, what I'm telling you now is not a big deal for us. Yeah, we haven't made a big deal out of it, but we also have something to celebrate. Many of you may be aware. Some of us maybe are not aware. So let me start by the following. I recommend that you take note of the highlighted parts of the following. put that on my LinkedIn account today, so I find it very, very impressive. Well, you know, when you look at this, all what you see here, what the leaders say, the highlighted parts, these actually mark the cornerstones and the principles of AFI's approach on financial inclusion and even our cooperation model. Isn't that impressive? What the leaders in this short clip actually reflects what AFI is all about. Now, a small personal story here. A couple of weeks ago in the summer, I had a bit of more time, so I had really intense conversations with my second son, who's 10 years old. And, you know, can't give you the full story, but he said something like, "Hey, Papa, let me know, this AFI thing, do you think that this AFI has changed the world?" Asked me. And, you know, my immediate reaction, of course, was to say, "Oh, I don't know. If I answer that, maybe I would go too far." And you know that people working in financial inclusion, they're humble, is a modest bunch, no? So my cautious and honest response to him was, I think I can say that we did a few things differently. Yeah? And perhaps a few things maybe better than they have been done before. That was my answer to my son. But now when I see this, actually I think I have to go back to my son and I have to tell him, yes, I think AFI has changed the world. Look at these numbers. I mean, 850 million. Yes, you have. You have. And I think when you break down these 850 millions into your jurisdictions, I mean, you should be very proud. A lot has happened. Think of how many individual lives, families, communities have changed for the better. And talking about, you know, the funding part of this, okay, this is a weak calculation. I agree. Some of you will jump up immediately, even in this room, and say, no, this is, you can't do it like this. But look, AFI spent in its budget over the past 15 years around 200 USD million, around that. When you take this, okay, I have to add in all the in-country contributions, I mean the in-kind contributions that you gave us, But when you look at this number, 850 million, and take this 200 million, what does it mean? It means that it cost us 20 cents per one person included. 20 cents. 20 cents. And if you look this through the lens of aid efficiency, which is even more powerful because we got less than 200 million because we have a lot of membership fees, we even dropped this number below 20 cents. I know it's a weak calculation, but we need to start somewhere to assess our impact. And I think that's the attempt that I'm trying here. Now, this is also an interesting perspective, especially at times when some of the donors seem to deprioritize some of their financial inclusion engagements, right? Now, it gives me, of course, also an opportunity to thank all our funders who have been with us in this journey. Now, there's an interesting question that comes up. What do all the countries that have achieved all this, what do they have in common? And there's oftentimes this term that you all know, we all talk about, this is the Global South. Global South. But when I ask you about what is the Global South, you will struggle, you will not be able to tell me. And I will ask you a few provocative questions. And these are just countries I pick. I have no opinion. So what does China have in common with Madagascar? If you are struggling, here's a clue. It's the same thing that Fiji has in common with Nigeria, and which Sudan has in common with Singapore, and which all those countries have in common with Mali, the Maldives, Mongolia, and Mexico. By now you are protesting, right? Because there's nothing else than all these countries are being located on the planet Earth. Such a diverse group of nations has no unifying characteristic. They are wealthy and poor. They are giant and tiny. They have diverse political systems. They are climate change contributors and they are climate change sufferers. And there is also a geographic dimension to it that I have not mentioned. how can Astana, the capital of Kazakhstan, be further north than a country like Luxembourg? And how can New Zealand and, they're in the south, and Australia, right? Is this global south? Obviously not. Yeah. So you're very right to protest, and I at least will stop using this term. And the conclusion here is actually that, staggering geographic, economic, political, and climate diversity of the global south nations compromises any attempt grouping them together. But I think there's also a danger in this, because the term is also dangerously polarizing. Yeah? Separating the world into global south and non-global south undermines international cooperation, particularly at a time with geopolitical conflict, and the term is not helpful. It adds fuel to fire. Well, in AFI, we see the diversity actually every day, and some of the countries I have mentioned before are even part of this membership, and their diversity is incredible. And while reflecting on the fact that each is unique, I realized, what is it that our 84 members actually bring together? If it's not the Global South, so what is it? And there are two things I want to mention. First of all, our members, and I believe this is very, very true, believe that policies, regulations, and development strategies must reflect a country context. That's a commonality. There's a second commonality, and that is what the very eloquent speakers highlighted already. Our members are all committed to inclusivity. As they progress along the development continuum, it is exactly with this determination. And now I realize that this worldview that we have here, a kind of Weltanschauung, is really around that. Yeah? It's really around that, inclusivity and focus on country context. And these are recipes for success, as the previous numbers, I think, have shown you. Now, you may have noted that this year's theme connects inclusivity and innovation. And if there is one word which encapsulates the spirit of El Salvador in 2024, yeah, it's innovation. Here, I feel a desire and an enthusiasm to innovate, to create, to take risks, to embrace the potential of new technologies. It's a philosophy that obviously permeates all sectors and all aspects of life, and it is transforming the country. El Salvador is a very different place. I was here exactly 10 years ago, but now you sense energy, you sense optimism. It's a liberal environment, and I speak really from experience. It is possible that national transformation would have been slower and more complicated if El Salvador had been a bigger country. And I believe here we see the advantage of being small and being nimble. But giants can also innovate, because innovation starts with a state of mind, with curiosity and open-mindedness. With this year's GPF, we explore which innovations are actually working to advance financial inclusion. Perhaps only 1 in 10 bold new initiatives will actually deliver results. But it's also worth to go for the one, because that will make the difference. Let's share this intelligence and work together. Financial inclusion for AFI is including everyone. If we are to achieve this, we will require a lot of innovation. At the same time, inclusivity also requires a commitment to social justice and to equity. Financial inclusion needs to be human-centered. That involves working to understand excluded groups, needs and challenges, and involving them in figuring out the solutions. You may say, hey, central banks and financial regulators, they have enough on their plate without having to worry about social justice. Yet, yes, that is true. But what I sense is a growing realization among banks and regulators that inclusivity creates a more robust and resilient society, and that meaningful progress cannot be achieved without asking tough questions like, Why are certain groups excluded? And what can we do to include them? Just, I'm from Germany, obviously, and we just had election. You can actually see what happens if some policymakers lose sight of inclusivity. There are anti-establishment, anti-political elite movements that are coming up. And I think our members show every day that working for inclusivity can help to stabilize not only economies, but even societies. Now, creating an environment that empowers diverse entities to offer tailored services to vulnerable segments of society, ensuring that no one is left behind the financial landscape. This is exactly what we are now going to do in the next 2 days, hopefully trying to find some solutions here. Through inclusivity, we can transform financial systems from exclusive clubs to open platforms where everyone can share the benefits. And by embracing inclusivity, we contribute to building a more equitable and prosperous world for all. This all brings me back to the question of leadership. Now, thank you, Douglas. Thank you, Hazel. Thank you for showing leadership. Thank you for opening up this opportunity for all of us to spend time with you here in this country of El Salvador during this week. The people in this room, I can assure you, are very grateful for all what you are doing for us. And we are confident that we all can make a contribution to innovation in an inclusive world. So let me wish you a great GPF. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hanig. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to invite our guest speaker, Dr. Monique Sansabangangwa, Deputy Chairman of African Union. Welcome.
Wow, should I start by saying, dear friends, because our protocol has been already established, and tell you that I'm so honored to be here with you today, a truly pleasant come back home feeling. I bring you greetings from the African Union Commission. I'm deeply delighted to address this 2024 GPF, where passion for innovation for an inclusive world is the order of the day. And from the last GPF that I attended, of course, in which I also co-created in that September 2019 in Kigali, Rwanda, my country, around the theme, using technology for inclusion of women and youth. It's heartwarming to witness that AFI thought leadership on innovation has grown even stronger. So congratulations. Thank you. Allow me to congratulate the Central Reserve Bank of El Salvador, Mr. President, my dear sister Vice President, our hosts, and also the Alliance for Financial Inclusion, the board, the ED, and the team, on yet another successful GPF. And thank you all for the courtesies accorded to my delegation since our arrival to the beautiful city of San Salvador. So, Your Excellencies, the African Union is a continental entity that embodies Africa's collective aspirations for an integrated, peaceful, and prosperous Africa, powered by and for its people, and increasingly playing an influential role on the global scene. I'm so inspired by what the previous speakers said, that actually, by minding inclusivity, you are also ensuring peace, you are ensuring stability, you are ensuring progress, and you are ensuring growth. So the theme of this forum, Innovation for an Inclusive World, therefore resonates deeply with the African Union commitment to ensuring that every African, regardless of gender, age, or background, benefits from the continent's growth. The African Union's role, particularly through its Agenda 2063, is to harness innovation as a tool for wealth creation, smart policies and regulations, inclusive access to life-changing services, collective learning through data systems, and global advocacy, thereby ensuring that no one is left behind in our pursuit of prosperity. I will try and share with you 5 stories about Africa, of course about the African Union, and about my own work as I ponder what we as a collective could do to foster innovation for an inclusive world. And I beg your pardon that I will be focusing more on this, I would say, entity that goes beyond the nations that build it. Because here you are the ministers, you are the governors, you are the institutions, and you are already successful in pushing financial inclusion in your own jurisdiction. But we come together as AFI because we believe there is power in collectives. And there is power also in going regional, and in going continental, and in going global, because some of the issues cannot be tackled by just focusing on our national policies alone. So I will start the first story, celebrating our unicorns. I know unicorns exist everywhere, here in Salvador, in Africa, and they are among the youth mainly, driving wealth creation and also financial inclusion through innovation. Africa has always been a continent of boundless potential, rich in resources, creativity, and the unyielding resilience of its people. And across the continent, for instance, we are witnessing the rise of agri-tech startups that are helping farmers increase their yields, and fintech solutions that are amplifying commerce for small businesses. There are virtually startups in every sector of life, in health, in climate, in water, education, mining, artificial intelligence, name it. Africa is brimming with entrepreneurial activity, much of it fueled by technological advancements. And we look up to these unicorns to keep innovating for solutions that can advance through the last mile, especially innovating around alternative contents. Think about those people in rural areas, those women, those informal cross-border traders who don't know how to read and write. How do you include them? Think about content in terms of visuals, in terms of touch, or even in terms of voice, expressed in vernacular languages to match the needs of the last mile communities, mainly in rural areas, the women and youth, the people living with disabilities, internally displaced people, and the refugees, most of whom operate in informal sectors and cannot read and write. So, back home, when I say home, that is Africa, initiatives such as Energize Africa, a program of the African Union Development Agency, we call it AUDA-NEPAD, working collaboratively with Timbuktu. Maybe you have heard about Timbuktu, a startups initiatives of the UNDP in Africa, have been supporting innovation hubs and ensuring our youth talent is retained, protected, and beneficiated on the continent as they contribute to offering solutions for a better world. Innovation hubs serve as incubators and accelerators for these young entrepreneurs, providing them with de-risking tools that guarantee their own access to financial services, thus deepening financial inclusion. May I now move maybe to my second story, which I wish to share and also reflect on some of the aspects of this innovation around financial inclusion. And this is the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the FCFTA, which in itself for me is an innovation in policy making and regulation. Why? This continental initiative is a game changer. Of course, it's facilitating the opening of new markets. There's nothing new about it. It's encouraging cross-border innovation and creates opportunities for Africa's entrepreneurs. Coupled with the digital transformation sweeping across the continent, this initiative is laying the ground for inclusive economic growth and sustainable development that benefits all. One of our leaders said that financial inclusion is not an end per se, and it has to be also associated with other strategies to be meaningful for the communities. And I argue that this initiative is an innovation because it has made sure that there is a protocol that is dedicated to women and youth, and that is mandating the rights of women and youth, including those in the informal sector, actually to partake in this initiative of a free trade area on the continent and ensure that no one is left behind. So, in addition, it has also a hub, which is a digital public infrastructure, emphasizing on micro and small and medium scale enterprises, which are mostly women, particularly young women, and enable them to automate for border management functions and trade facilitation services through accelerated regulatory integration to eliminate technical barriers to trade. This does not only level the ground for everyone, but also it allows creating a track record for small businesses, thereby removing a source of vulnerability for many, especially who are unable to build credit due to a lack of formal business status. This is an innovation. I'm now coming to the third, which is my personal and my favorite one, about innovating around solutions to include women and youth. We all know that, like in most developing countries, majority of African women and youth live in rural areas. They are either unemployed, underemployed, or vulnerably self-employed. And the youth entering the job market each year by far outnumber formal jobs created every year. And this situation perpetuates youth unemployment and gender inequalities in employment. I was glad to hear that in El Salvador, unemployment is 5%. You are among the well-doing countries because in some places, actually, we face higher rates of unemployment. And youth mainly roughly face roughly double the unemployment rate of adults, with significant variation in many countries. Women and youth financial inclusion and economic exclusion poses a significant threat to the sustainable development of our countries, threatens to broaden and further entrench socio-economic challenges, including poverty and inequality, thereby delaying the attainment of SDGs. In Africa, like in many developing countries, we still have a significant portion of the population facing connectivity shortages due to limited access to electricity, to the internet, as well as high data costs. And the lack of awareness and understanding of digital financial services is hindering adoption, while digital taxes that add additional costs associated with digital transactions are discouraging the same adoption. and we still face redundancy barriers in the form of obstacles related to outdated infrastructure and inefficient processes. So, my experience with the African Union Commission is that we are actively implementing a digital transformation strategy, which is aiming to achieve universal access to digital financial services for all, including the SMEs across the continent. We are also collaborating with African central banks to advocate for and develop policies and harmonized regulatory frameworks that support inclusive digital financial platforms. We are also committed to fostering these alliances through initiatives such as Smart Africa, which is an initiative of the private sector, aiming to create a single digital market across the continent and build the infrastructure necessary to support innovation at scale, the keyword being at scale. So, in line with this strategy, we will play a key role in driving innovative initiatives critical to realizing the goals of the African Union 2020 to 2030 decade of women's financial and economic inclusion. On the continent, we are committed to women and youth economic and financial inclusion. And of course, since last year, 2022 rather, I have envisioned and have been championing an initiative called Women and Youth Financial and Economic Inclusion, Wi-Fi 2030, aimed at dismantling key systemic barriers that perpetuate poverty, deprivation, and social injustices among women and youth in Africa. And through public-private partnerships, together with the Wi-Fi stakeholders, we are building resilient continental ecosystems that foster impactful multi-level actions to improve women and youth financial and economic inclusion and contribute to unlocking $100 billion for at least 10 million women and youth by 2030. And the imperative of accounting to these targets is bringing me to the fourth story I wish to tell, one of an effort to harness data and collaborations to monitor progress on digital inclusion. Our commitment to transparency and responsibility is unwavering as we account to women, youth, SMEs, and people with disability on the impact our actions are yielding. And of course, we are partnering with AFI's Financial Inclusion Strategy Peer Learning Group to onboard countries on peer learning review, and so far 14 countries already signed up. And in the same vein, we are also collaborating with the UN Regional Hub for Big Data and the Data Science Steering Committee to promote the use of alternative sources in the field of official statistics. Now, my final is the good news that we are going global. Now, as of last year, we are a member of the G20, and we are also engaging as an active player in the GPI Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion platform. And there, we'll keep pushing for the advocacy for financial inclusion of all in Africa, in El Salvador, in all the developing and emerging countries in terms of multilateral financial architecture reforms that we need to see to also include the countries. It's not only individuals that need to be financially included. Our countries need also to be financially included. We need to see more fiscal space that our countries can now dedicate more investments to the education, the health, the financial inclusion without minding about the debt burden that is now pushing many to actually have to choose between their people and repaying these debts. We are advocating for more climate finance, including fair rules of the game in the carbon market, taxation regimes, sovereign credit ratings that should be fairer, and so many other goals. We believe that countries and institutions in the AFI network can gain more in de-risked financing and investment instruments for the private sector, including the SMEs, to undertake projects that are going to create wealth and render financial inclusion meaningful. So this advocacy has gained momentum. With the IMF decision taken in May this year, allowing countries to channel special drawing rights through the African Development Bank alongside another multilateral development bank. More surely should and certainly will come. Within the Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion, for instance, we will continue to advocate for inclusive SMEs financing and push for the last mile and quality inclusion through digital infrastructure. And this 2024 GPF forum will provide concrete steps to take in areas that matter most to achieve an inclusive world. As I conclude, let me emphasize that innovation is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is the bridge between our present challenges and the future of shared prosperity. Innovation is not just about creating wealth. It's about ensuring that if every person has a fair chance to contribute to and benefit from the growth we strive for. As we leave this forum, let us commit to fostering innovation that prioritizes inclusion. Let us champion policies that open doors for the marginalized and unlock the potential of our youth. Let us invest in technologies that heal, that empower, that uplift communities across Africa, across the whole world. I invite the AFI and all its partners to join hands with us at the African Union to entrench innovations that will promote inclusion and provide solutions to a diverse range of problems still standing in the way of a more equitable and accessible society for all. I pledge my personal unwavering support and active contribution to honor the agency and dignity of the vulnerable and underprivileged communities, mainly women and youth, through financial inclusion innovations. This, for me, is a noble cause and a personal calling. Muchas gracias. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Miguel Catán, Secretary of Commerce of El Salvador.
Buenos días. Espero poder despertarlos y llamar su atención. Bienvenidos a El Salvador. En nombre del presidente Bukele, les quiero decir que este país de la sonrisa, de los volcanes, de las olas y de anfitriones, se siente orgulloso de tenerlos a cada uno de ustedes en nuestro país. El Salvador es su casa. En este importante evento en el que estamos reunidos para hablar de inclusión financiera y de innovación para lograrla, me uno a quienes me antecedieron en el saludo de cada una de las personalidades, pero también en el desarrollo de sus ponencias, cuando dicen que innovación no es tecnología, o no es solo tecnología. Innovación es visión, pero también debe de tener decisión. Y yo me felicito y me congratulo y me siento orgulloso de las autoridades del Banco Central de Reserva de El Salvador, licenciado Douglas Rodríguez y la licenciada Hazel González, porque han logrado imprimir en nuestro país, no solo con regulación, sino que también con innovación, con claridad, con decisión, con firmeza, sistemas que permiten incluir a los salvadoreños en un mejor sistema financiero.
Transfer 365 is proof of that. That will now allow us conducting transfers not only within El Salvador, but in all of the Central American region and the DR, without additional costs. But what is most important here is to truly understand that it is not enough to have a vision and have a decision, but rather we must have clarity at all times as to why things are being done, why these things are being done, and for who these things are being done. And I truly believe that the vision of President Bukele's administrations, as well as its officials and of the Central Reserve Bank of El Salvador, has been very clear this whole time. Everything we do for and on behalf of our people, so that they may enjoy a better quality of life, so that they may have better options for and have better access to the financial system. But what good is it to have access to financial system if there isn't any actual development, and there can't be any financial inclusion without development throughout the country? So constant, sustainable development is required to be able to generate a worthy employment that will allow our populations to have a better quality of life. It's not only about, implementing policies. It's not only about making decisions here and there, but rather we must have necessary actions to be able to generate quality employment for each and every one of the inhabitants of our countries. And that is a policy that must come from the very state itself, a clear policy, generating opportunities and equality in opportunities for all of the population through education, through health, and with well-being for all. We feel incredibly proud of what we've managed to achieve in the first term of President Bukele, and we feel even prouder when we begin to think that it hasn't been 5 years, because a year and 7 months we had a pandemic, COVID-19, which pretty much put us on our knees. The whole world was on its knees. Then the container crisis, then the war, aggression between, however you want to call it, between Russia and Ukraine, that has generated inflation and scarcity throughout the world. And in the last 2 years and a half, we've managed to the most dangerous country in the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere. And you can't have financial inclusion without safety and security. So for all of us, I think this meeting should be a challenge in and of itself, a clear challenge of everything that we should be doing, of everything that we can be doing, and all that we still need to do. El Salvador has done so much, but there's just so much more to do. We have actually just taken our first step. For some, a very big one, but for us, still only a very first step in having made a little progress in our fight to give back to people that which has been denied. So, I'd like to draw a comparison so that you may understand. In El Salvador, no Salvadoran under 40 years of age had ever experienced 1 day of full security in their whole lives. They didn't know what it was to have security, to be safe, until now. Since 1980. And maybe even before. The country had been experiencing had been drowned into a tempest of violence, insecurity, criminality, and having managed to achieve this change truly not only changed the life of our youth who did not know what this was, but to every single inhabitant of this nation. And we have managed to become an example for the rest of the world that you can live in a safe country. It's expensive, it's difficult, it's hard. You need courage to make the decisions that need to be made to achieve this. But when you see the children, when you see youth, without opportunities, you can say, it's worth it. It was worth it. Trust me, it was worth it. It doesn't matter if the whole world. It doesn't matter if the whole world is against you. What does matter is the fact that your people, that are the people of our nations, are able to have a better future. What worth it is, how worth it is it if they don't have access to a checking account and they don't have any money to put in it? How is it worth it to have online banking if they don't have any money to buy anything for? That account sits empty. What are all these things worth it if they can't put their children through school? They can't have access to college education, and they die because they don't have any health. We need to have comprehensive development in our nations. That's what we're striving for, and comprehensive means for everyone in every sense. So, ladies and gentlemen, undoubtedly, financial inclusion is incredibly important. It is vital to achieve that development and that integrality, because without it, we can achieve that either, but we must be very clear on our vision and the reasons why, for what, for whom, and what are they, for what people. So all I need to say now is thank you for being in our country. Thank you for coming to El Salvador. Thank you for thank you for choosing us as co-hosts 2024 Forum of Global Policies of the AFI. Welcome, you are at home. You're in your home. So thank you, Douglas and Hazel, for all the effort you've made, for that vision, for that clarity, and for all that courage to do things and to do them well. God bless us all. Have a wonderful day.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now our great honor and privilege to officiate our opening in the GPF tradition. Officially open the 2024 AFI Global Policy Forum, and I also ask the speakers to stand around. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Please, a big round of applause for Licenciado Douglas Pablo Rodriguez and Vice President too for officially opening the 2024 GPF. In a moment, we will commence with the first session of the day, but before we do, I wish to extend our sincerest acknowledgments to the guest speaker. Please, Dr. Monique Sansamangwangwa, Deputy Chairperson of African Union, for welcoming us. To the AFI Board Chair, Governor Arif Ali, and the Executive Director of AFI, Dr. Alfred Hennig. Thanks to Mr. Miguel Catan, Secretary of Commerce of El Salvador. This concludes the official opening ceremony, and I kindly request President of Banco Central de Reserva and AFI Executive Director to please escort the official party off the stage.
Please remain seated as the artist will move through the room. Also, please take into account that the show contains special effects.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AFI GPF Innovation for an Inclusive World San Salvador 2024. Join us in learning about the path that El Salvador has taken towards financial inclusion.
Bienvenidos a Latinoamérica, tierra de sol y pasión, de la mano y unidos en un solo corazón. El Pacífico brillando, donde el sol besa la piel. El Salvador es un lienzo lleno de color y fe. En cada rincón se escucha el cantar de pueblos que sueñan, con manos unidas y un solo latir. En un solo ritmo y corazón siente la emoción de nuestra pasión. Baila con el alma al calor de esta canción que canto con amor. Bienvenidos a El Salvador, tierra de esperanza y fe, donde el verde de los campos es un canto natural. De las playas hasta el volcán, su belleza es sin igual. Coloridos cafetales llenos de historia y valor. En cada rincón, un cálido abrazo y sonrisas encuentras, con manos unidas y un solo latir. En un solo ritmo y corazón siente la emoción de nuestra pasión. Baila con el alma al calor de esta canción que canto con amor. Somos uno, sin fronteras. Un, dos, tres y en un solo ritmo y corazón siente la emoción de nuestra pasión. Baila con el alma al calor de esta canción que canto con amor. En un solo ritmo y corazón siente la emoción de nuestra pasión. Baila con el alma al calor de esta canción que canto con amor. Standing in line, feeling that grind. Phones in my hand, just wasting my time. Wild these rules, jumping through hoops. Paperwork mountains, feeling like fools. Smiles everywhere, stress disappears. No need to fret, no need to sigh. Show me your ID, you can reach the sky. Hey, hey, ID, please. No more hassle, no more fees. Just one card to set me free. Financial world for you and me. I'm so I'm so
2019, the creation of a collegiate body to coordinate efforts for the financial education and inclusion of the population was approved by President Najib Bukele. As a result, the Central Bank of El Salvador will coordinate the creation of the National Council for Financial Inclusion and Education.
China has identified the cause of the mysterious new virus, coronavirus.
There are fears a rapidly spreading virus has reached Australia.
This is a rapidly emerging situation where there is not a cause for alarm.
The first US case has been detected.
There's confirmation the coronavirus has reached Australia.
China is urging its citizens not to travel abroad as it struggles to contain the virus.
After weeks of intense pressure, the Premier has unveiled how Queensland will open up to the rest of the country and the world.
Some 400,000 workers can now return to jobs in construction, manufacturing, and retail with curbside pickup.
This morning, New York City is now just days away from reopening, ending one of the longest lockdowns in the country.
"2021 has been a year of great innovation. The launch of the National Financial Inclusion Policy, which promotes an inclusive and secure system for the most vulnerable populations. Transfer 365 facilitates payments and interbank transfers, generating savings of approximately $99 million by eliminating fees. It is a fully inclusive service, with around 50% of the operations being carried out. Innovation Office and the Bitcoin Law were introduced. The National Council, led by the Central Bank, was a stronghold that fought against distrust in the financial system, low banking penetration, and limited digital transformation.
Financial education for everyone. Quality in product we promote. Planning for your future, that will be our plan. Walking right beside you for a better path. Financial inclusion, our primary goal. With passion, no distinctions in El Salvador. Financial inclusion for everyone. An ideal to reach like no other. We grew 1.4 points in the financial literacy indicator.
We reached 11.7 points of a maximum score of 19.
Modern strategy we bring with security and transparency in a service with the highest quality. Financial inclusion went up, more people getting savings accounts. So much progress, no one is left behind. Financial wellness, agility, digital equality. TUCATION, INCLUSION. Financial inclusion for everyone. An ideal to reach for rolling down. Financial inclusion, a primary goal. With passion, no distinctions in El Salvador. Financial inclusion for everyone. An ideal to reach. Financial inclusion, a primary goal. With passion, no distinctions in El Salvador. Financial inclusion for everyone. An ideal to reach for rolling down.
El Salvador is moving towards a more innovative and sustainable future, with initiatives that promote financial inclusion for everyone. Let's explore 3 that have made a significant impact. 1. The Green Finance Roadmap of El Salvador, approved in 2023, is a tool for implementing interinstitutional actions that encourage the mobilization of capital towards sustainable and environmental projects, facilitating the transition to an inclusive, low-carbon economy. 2. Women's participation in the financial system is a priority for financial inclusion in El Salvador. Through the Financial Inclusion Roadmap for Women, we are breaking down the barriers that have limited women's access to financial products and services. 3. With the National FinTech Strategy, El Salvador is fostering an ecosystem where technology and finance come together to offer fast, secure, and accessible solutions for everyone. This strategy has been designed to close the technological gap and accelerate the country's financial inclusion. Together, we are building a more inclusive, green, and technologically advanced El Salvador. The future is ours.
Finally, in 2024, the central bank has strived to adapt to the needs. Its mission remains alive. It is guided by the vision of an equitable and inclusive El Salvador, where every citizen has access to a prosperous and equitable financial future. As part of this innovation strategy, the central bank launched the financial education bus called My Financial Journey. As part of the digital financial inclusion ecosystem, the Central Reserve Bank is working on the phased implementation of an inclusive payment system called 365 Pay, a digital wallet. This system aims to include 72% of the population that is currently unbanked. Committed to financial inclusion, El Salvador has promoted various initiatives and comprehensive public policies covering strategic areas. In this way, it has contributed to reducing gender gaps and promoting trust and knowledge in the financial system among the population. Under the leadership of President Nayib Bukele, the country continues to work diligently to ensure that Salvadorans have access to an innovative, inclusive, and sustainable financial future.
Welcome to our friends who have come from away. Welcome to everyone, you are welcome to stay. If you're coming from Africa or coming from America, because we come from everywhere, we all come together. Welcome to the GPF 2020, for where we need to make innovations for an inclusive world. GPF 2020, for where we need to make innovations for an inclusive world. We are here to explore opportunities, strategies for financial inclusion. We focus to improve our ways in a world where everything is non-stop moving. Innovation for an inclusive world.
Since Transfer 365 was implemented, my transactions are easier. It is an inclusive, free service available 24/7 for all the Salvadorans. And did you know that the Transfer 365 service has generated savings for the population for more than $100 million in fees? And I don't have to worry about the time. I can do it after work. In fact, did you know that 46% of the operations in Transfer 365 are carried out during non-working hours? We have also improved the level of banking services access to Salvadorans. We grew 5 percentage points, going from 23% to 28% in 2022. The BCR promotes digitalization through the innovation of its processes to bring quality services to Salvadorans, like electronic signatures and services such as Your Check Today, Your Money Now. We have also increased the level of financial education. In the last 5 years, more than 23,000 students have benefited through financial education talks.
The program Mi Viaje Financiero brings financial education to the entire country. More than 6,000 students have received these benefits. Also, did you know that the score that measures the level of financial knowledge, attitudes, and behaviors increased to 11.7 from a maximum of 19 points in 2022? You are here at the start of the moment, on the edge of the world, where the dreams and goals reborn. Here by the Pacific Ocean, where the sky's purple and gold. Welcome to the GPF 2020, for where we need to make innovations for an inclusive world. GPF 2020, for where we need to make innovations for an inclusive world. El Salvador, you're always welcome here. With wide open arms, you'll always be received. From the mountain top to the deep sea, we want to see a land filled with prosperity. Join us, let us build together. Over 84 countries. countries and 90 AFI member institutions. Welcome to our beautiful country.
GPF 2020 for where we be. Making innovations for an inclusive world. GPF 2020 for where we be. Making innovations for an inclusive world. Welcome to
GPF 2024.
Thank you to Banco Central de Reserva de El Salvador for this incredible presentation. I kindly Incredible presentation from Banco Central de Reserva de El Salvador. I kindly ask delegates to remain seated as we usher the authorities to break first. Everybody set? Special guest, you can now leave the room. Thank you very much. Our speakers, special guests, thank you for being here with us.
When the waves rush in and a view from the bay.